I am so excited to be here today. I am your host, Judy Hanson-Jewett. I am a spiritual teacher and an intuitive energy healer. My clients release quickly their trauma and instantaneously feel balanced, centered, and lighter. The purpose of Enlightenment with Judy Jewett is to provide a spiritual view on current global events. Please share with your friends so we can together heal ourselves, our community, our ancestors, and humanity. Well, I want to thank everyone for taking the time again to join us, and we will go ahead and begin. This is a two-part series. We're going to dive deep into the current events in America and humanity. Part 2 on Wednesday will give you tools to help you heal, to gain more clarity, and to feel more balanced and centered. I am so honored and so excited to introduce our two guests today. The first one I'd like to introduce is Dr. D. Adio Moses. She is Reverend Dr. D. Adio Moses. She is a visionary and author, life strategist, business coach, entrepreneur, humanitarian, and spiritual leader. As an ordained minister with a PhD specializing in holistic life and spiritual counseling, she helps her clients to discover, evaluate, and find solutions to the issues and challenges that hold them back in life. I would like to go ahead and give your website now, and I'll do it later. It's drdadiomoses.com, and you can go there and see all the wonderful programs that she has and how she has changed many lives. Our next guest is Reverend Angela Harrington Rice. Currently, Reverend Angela serves as an interim executive director of Interfaith Community, where she provides guidance and leadership for its world pilgrims and immersion programs. For over 25 years, Reverend Angela has led a distinguished career in television broadcasting in the Atlanta region. During her career, she developed and produced award-winning television series that explored the spiritual lives of faith leaders in Atlanta, addressed the concerns of women, and was awarded a regional Emmy Award for World Pilgrims, a sacred journey to Turkey. I would like to give you her website. You can check out all the wonderful things she does with her own programs of Radiant Visions. It is Radiant Visions at .com, right? That is your website, right, Reverend Angela?
Yes, yes, it's radiantvisioncommunications.com.
Thank you.
And also AngelaHarringtonRice.com, so you can reach me in 2 days.
All right. Thank you very much. I wrote down, oh, never mind. Okay. So we're here today, and this is a magical moment for the three of us to come together, how it just fell into place, what we're doing today. And what I would like to do is I want just to be able to talk a little bit also, because I would like to bring the relationship that Dr. D and Reverend Angela have, because I believe you guys met at seminary school, and that was Barbara King Seminary School. Is that correct?
Yes.
Good.
That was like, is it 25 years ago or something? 25
Wow.
Yes, it is. And that was over.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Yes, that is a really long time ago. And I know that Dr. D and I met 8 years ago when we were both on a podcast on the same station and what channel, and we had our own shows, and it was beautiful. We just clicked very quickly, and we've been friends ever since.
Yes, we have.
Yes. So this came about like I said, for many reasons, how Dr. D and I talked a month ago about, and I told her that I was starting a new podcast, a new social media channel that I call it my Enlightenment with Judy Jewett Show. And so, she was going to be my first guest. And then all of a sudden, all these things happened in the world. And with COVID, of course, had already been going on, but we had a tragedy happen in the country. And that was the death of George Floyd. And so it just turned out I was ready to launch, and Dr. D came on board, and she brought in Reverend Angela with all her experience and divine wisdom and guidance. So
you got it right.
I got it right. Well, good. That's a lot to say in such a short time. And then you're on video also and on audio, and you got to get it all out there and keep everybody's attention. So I would like to begin, when this was brought up, I know with Dr. D, we talked about the tragedy that America is hurting. They have literally a wound that is a volcano that has exploded. And this is nothing new. And as a spiritualist that I am, this is nothing new. This isn't like all of a sudden we had a volcano that exploded from a death. This was something that has been just burning, for centuries, of all kinds of things that have come up. And so what I would like to do today is talk about that, and about what's been brewing, ready to explode for centuries, which I call it karma. What you sow is what you reap. And we, as a collective consciousness in America, but it extends around the world, this happened from our own spiritual karma. So this is nothing new, but it hurts, and it goes deep, and it goes to the core of our souls. So as of today, I would like our guests to go ahead and talk about how they perceive it, and dive as deep as you want, because this is about being truthful, deep. We're not going to hold back. We're not going to hold back to be sweet and nice. Okay. There's no time for sweet and nice. This is to get to wounds, and so people can heal. So with that being said, I would like to go ahead and ask Dr. D if she could please share her insights.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Judy. And thank you for putting all this together. Thank you for inviting us. And as a mother of 3 sons, and Angela is the wonderful auntie, I have been one of the mothers that have been very, very, very concerned about what happens in this country to young and older male, period. I'm not saying that women don't get the brunt side of it, but the majority of what is happening now is really focused mainly on a young male. And so when the George Floyd thing happened, I must just tell you that for days I was crying, because just seeing life just snuffed out of someone, a human being. I'm sure many of us have never seen it like that before. Just knocked out right in front of you. Just like, was just really into the core of me. Because it could have been our brother, our father, our uncle, our friend, because it could have been anybody that we know. And when that happened, and then subsequently all the other things started happening, what came to me was the trouble that I had was not being able to figure out how a policeman would have just found himself not even thinking not even thinking about it, not even just conscious about it. And I just thought to myself that he must have felt he was doing a job, that was his, that was what was given to him to do. Because the way he carried it out, it was really like, oh, go to the marketplace and kill a dog and bring it home, or go to the shelter and bring it there. It just seemed like he has been given the instruction. And so I wasn't surprised when there was all that all that happened, and with the Black Lives Matter. The other side that I couldn't understand is the all lives matter that so many people also mention. And that came to me as sort of explaining to someone, because I had to explain to a lot of my Caucasian friends that if you have 4 children and one of them has been bullied in school and is really sick, will the others say, oh, all of us matter, don't take care of the one that has been beaten down or something has happened? No. The other children will help their mother, their parents, to take care of the one that is sick, or the one that's been bullied, or the one that's really down and out. So in general, as you just mentioned so eloquently, this is a platform for us to relook, like look in the mirror, each one of us, because nobody is perfect, yes. But if your own brother was killed, how will you feel? If your own father was killed, how will you feel? It's just as simple as that. This kind of relationship that we all have with each other, especially for me, I haven't heard enough from the Christian community. I have not heard enough, because Jesus told us simple things that we need to do, the simple spiritual laws, how to love our neighbor as ourselves. And if you love your neighbor as yourself, it doesn't matter the color. It doesn't matter who that was. There's no way you wouldn't feel what we, as people of color, what we felt and what we're feeling. You should feel our pain even more than us, or as much as us. So that's just my own opening statement of it, because I can go on and on and on and just talk it. But that is the basic beginning of it first. So Miss Angela.
Yeah. Angela, Reverend Angela, would you like to please tell us when you heard of the tragic death of George Floyd and all that has been happening, the ripple effect of what has come forward, your spiritual take, your personal feelings? Please don't hold back. Share it all.
Can you hear us?
I'm having a little trouble with the signal, but
you're having a little trouble.
I'll just so I just I'm having some trouble with the signal, so I couldn't hear exactly all that you respond. How I respond. I just want to share how I'm as me and many others to see the disrespect and inhumane treatment of it. As we talk about the march and we talk about what is going on in this country, everyone is centered on George Floyd. But this is bigger than George Floyd. He is a catalyst that kind of galvanize people, because if you're seeing somebody lying around, telling the person they can't breathe, calling their mother, they're calling their mother, and you are there watching, and you see this man foaming at the mouth and dying. And there seems to be no emotion, no compassion, no nothing for this man, as this police officer on this man's neck for over 8 minutes. I mean, that was a wake up call, I think, for a lot of people. And I think that is what that emotion was so strong. It's like, how many people, how many deaths can we live through? Can we see black men, women murdered by police officers? And so it's this whole idea is that the police officers are supposed to be working to protect all of us. You know, when I was a young person, you know, we had officer friendly. Friendly was the person that you went to help you get to school, or you could ask questions, and would be in the community, and everybody knew officer friendly. Now, know the people who are committed to protect in many cases. There is so much stereotypical information out there about who black people are, and it's like there seems to be some type of playbook that says all of us play by the same rules, or all of us are the same. And so it's a way, our humanity, every person. But I think there's a way that we treat human beings. I don't think you shoot first and then ask questions. I think there needs to be an overhaul of these systems that continue to oppress us. But these systems are created by people. You know, we're all responsible for these systems that have been created. And so something has to be done, because I believe that racism, white supremacy, all of these are diseases of the heart. They are diseases of the heart, and not only do they affect us as people of color, who have to find ways to kind of keep ourselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. It also impacts the lives of those who have this hate in their hearts. I read, I think it was a text or Instagram this morning of a man who wrote Bezos, the owner of Amazon, and some really horrible things. I mean, using all types of that word, and that he announced Bezos for that he should not. He's gonna get it. I mean, such hate, such hate.
Yeah,
What can come out
too
of
much
hate
hate.
but destruction? But destruction. So I did a talk that I did on Facebook for my spiritual fellowship, and one of the things was I called the names. The list went on and on. I called the names of those who had been murdered by police officers. I called the name, and a lot of these crimes that we not crimes. Tamir Rice Park, playing with a gun that they sell in stores for kids to play with,
Only
and
12
he
years
was
old.
murdered. No questions asked, nothing. And so we also have to think about the fear and all of those other things that are, are prevalent in the hearts of so many people.
You know, Reverend Angela, you and I, we talk a lot about all these issues over the years. And what is upsetting to many of us is it's like every year the same thing, or many, many times a year, is the same thing over and over and over again. So by the time you get over one, you don't even ever get over it. But by the time the noise count cools down, another one happens again. So it's like nobody's listening and nobody cares. Nobody cares about children being murdered, women being murdered, men being murdered. So you just then tell yourself that it is a country for two people, two sets, two tribes. And the two tribes are so different in their experiences. So if there are two tribes in a country, is like a house divided. So spiritually, for everyone to be happy, for everyone to find that peace and the pursuit of happiness, it has to be for every tribe. It has to be for everyone. And the stress in the Black community of being afraid of the police, of the law enforcement, gives you high blood pressure, gives diabetes. The stress is so much that it is not unusual to see maybe 90% of us having high blood pressure. That is where the pressure comes from, the high blood pressure. Don't you think so, Reverend Angela? The high blood pressure is police and, having that encounter.
Oh, I think racism, just living.
We cannot hear you, Reverend Angela.
All of these.
Judy, can you hear her?
No, she's cutting out.
Huh?
Yes, she's cutting out.
Oh, you can't hear
Reverend Angela, you are cutting out.
Oh.
So I think what we'll do is, Reverend Angela, when you feel
I just have a bad signal.
There you go.
To do.
Okay, you are moving. So can you say something right now? Can you go ahead and let's make sure you're with us.
Can you say something so that we make sure you're with us?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I am speaking.
Okay.
But
so maybe you'll need to speak much louder.
Can you try Angela, Reverend Angela? I'm going to go ahead and keep going. And Reverend Angela, just stay with us. And your signal's a little bit better. Just dive in there. Dr. D and I do not care. Just come on.
Yes, just break into the discussion.
We want your love and your wisdom. You're a powerhouse. And you've been a reverend for a long time, and you have a lot of experience on TV and documentaries and everything you've done for the spiritual community. So we definitely want to hear what you have to say today for America, for the wound, for the cut. We're bleeding, we're hurting with anger and rage and guilt and shame and the rage, and it's everybody has to speak up. And part of it is what you were saying, Dr. D, is that somehow people are not getting involved. You know, we're always hearing about people dying, you know, and we're hearing about police brutality, and we're hearing about being bullied. You know, it's all of the energy, the pain in the heart where others are striking out. But what it is that we haven't had a voice, because we haven't felt like we're going to be heard. And right now, people are being heard, and they're speaking, and they're festering, and they're letting all this come out, and there are being very peaceful protests. And there's even things happening that where people are silent for 9 minutes. They're on their knees for 9 minutes. I mean, there's all kinds of things. It's a ripple effect. And you know what is so beautiful? It's not about, you know, we've talked about George Floyd, and, you know, we're talking about humanity. It doesn't matter if he did anything that was against the law. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the life he led. What matters is
he was
that
still a human being.
He is
still a human being. And he, as I said, he could have been a member of our family.
Yes.
And he is a member of our human race family.
Yes.
So we never say that. I've never seen a mother say, or a father say, oh, you know, because my son that lies, or my son or my daughter that is rude dies, oh, you know, I'm not even going to mourn her, or it doesn't bother me that she died. She's rude anyway. No parent will say that.
No.
And so he could have made mistakes in his life, but he deserved to live. He deserved to be here. And we all are part of him, that our job is, how do we help somebody like that to be a better person? Not how do we help him to die. It's really, how do we help him to be a better person? How do we help him to overcome? And that is the kind of work that you do, that we all do. We meet people that have issues every day.
Yes.
And our job is, let's help them to have a better life. And the people that are bringing out all this, I just want them to look at the mirror and list their own shortcomings and see, sometimes they have just been lucky in life.
You know, that is so true. And I want to address, when you were talking about that Afro-Americans or Black people, it doesn't have to be an Afro-American, that you have, you know, you're saying 90% has high blood pressure. And so I want to dive a little bit deep with that, because that is part of the karma that happened a long time ago. You know, that there's something wrong. We have to run for our life. You know, we're not feeling like we're equal. Okay. And so
you mean it started long time ago?
Yes.
So what you're saying is that we've always had high blood pressure because of the way we've been treated.
By the way,
our life is heightened just by living. Our own day-to-day life is stressful, and it has, you know, just stressful. Just you wake up in the morning and you wake up stressed. You have to have spiritual grounding. You have to be able to have the kind of like, let me breathe, let me not worry, let me, you know, there are so many processes for a Black person leaving their home or even staying in their home that they have to go through just to have a stress-free day.
Okay. So let's dive deeper with this, because as Caucasian, I'm going to tell you that I have very stressful days, and being a woman, supporting myself, having a business, being a mother of 4 children, feeling safety for my life, being out on the streets or taking a walk and there's a van or a truck pulled up of men, you know? And so I get, that part, but I want to talk about, when I'm saying diving deep, of the karma of several hundred years of Black people even being treated differently, even than of the regular everyday stuff.
But you see, when you're talking of karma, we shouldn't be experiencing the karma.
Exactly. There shouldn't be the
We
karma.
shouldn't be experiencing, and what you have just listed now as a Caucasian lady, right? Then add on top of that an extra 50% of stress that comes by being a Black lady or a brown lady, a brown woman, right? Because you don't have to worry about walking into a store and be thinking that I have to do things right, so I'm not looked at this way, especially with our male. Caucasians don't have to worry about that. There is a safety net that comes in their day-to-day living. So you walk into somewhere, you're looking for a job, there's so many things that you take for granted, that not that you're doing it on purpose, you just don't need to think about it. A Black person needs to think about every little thing. You need to think about and it's from when we're very young.
Yes.
Very young. So even in school, there are no books, mostly in Black schools, there are no books. The teachers are so badly paid. The environment is bad. The community, there's no help in terms of, most of them is only the liquor store and maybe a low-end food or fast food that is in the community. So it seems as if that tribe is not part of the bigger picture. Because if they are in the bigger picture, there will be so much more that will be done in the environment. And so when people are now talking about, oh, we want the money that is being given to the police to be diverted to the community, what they are saying is, the way I understand it, or that I've been trying to explain to some of my friends, is that in some countries, they pay the doctors to do preventive medicine. So the more you don't have people that have high blood pressure and all that, the more you get paid. So the doctor's job is to make sure that you live, you survive. They are not there at the end of it. They are at the beginning. So when the police if part of their job is to help the community to grow, and make sure there's nobody to arrest. There shouldn't be so many people in prison. For what? There are a lot of ways to really make sure that people, children especially, they are well trained. We have creche, what's it called? The daycare thing. It's, hello, Reverend Angela is back. Can you hear?
Part of the house, so hopefully this works better.
Oh, that's wonderful. I can hear you, but you're still a little bit farther away.
Oh, okay.
But I can hear you. So what we're saying is that how we have the blood pressure, the medical situation because of added stress. So Judy was saying how much she had to do herself and all the things she goes through. And I told her that she needs to add 50% on top of all that she's talked about, and add an extra 50% stress on top of that. Because ours is more or less like a permanent one, because you don't see there are very few. I mean, people do what they need to do. They go to college, they go to school, they study, they do all that. Now, Many people are looking for jobs, and all the only jobs that are available are the $10 ones, even if you've been to college. It is just unbelievable. And Reverend Angela, can you confirm that? Can you say what
Yeah,
you've seen in the society?
oh well, it's so much that's on everybody. It's just everybody. Life is not the easy walk around the park for all of us, no matter black, white, green, yellow. There are always going to be situations and stressors. However, we do have the added stress of having to deal with challenges that are not our own. We not only have to look at ourselves as people of color, but we also have to, as Dr. W.B. Du Bois, we have a double consciousness. We're always seeing how it will appear to others. Parents are having talks with their sons because they just want to be youth. They just want to do what young people do. But there's the added conversation of, well, you need to do this. You can't dress like this. You shouldn't be there. It just, everything is kind of truncated around this idea of how can you be safe as a person of color or a black person. And then the added stress, as Dee was talking about, it penetrates every segment of society, every segment, whether you go to the grocery store sometimes, particularly if you live in underserved neighborhoods. You may not even find produce in the grocery store. So, in the stores that are predominantly in those areas, ones that sell canned foods or processed foods, so you have these food deserts. So when you go to the doctor, it's like there's another concern in terms of health and the stress of actually taking on all that we have to take on as Black people. Education. I mean, it permeates every area of society, and that's something I think most people don't realize. Like, you have young people now that will say, "Well, I've never had a racial incident." Well, it's systemic. It's in the society. It's in the water we drink. No, nobody may have ever called you the N word, and that's the least of it. That is the least of it. It's the systemic things, the health disparities, the poverty, the health conditions, going to court. Look at our jails. Look at our jails and our prisons. I mean, all is part of the same systemic mess that happens in the country. As much as it seems, it is almost what fuels this country. I think about the expansion of cities sometimes, and the expansion of a lot of cities is based on people not wanting to live with other people. So it's like, okay, here they come. Let's move out. Let's move. And then when they move, a lot of the resources, a lot of the businesses and everything else moves. So that means that your life has to be rearranged once again. So it is a part of the system. It's a part since the very beginning. And so what we need is, Tracy Chapman sings, "The whole world's broke and it doesn't need fixing." That means that we can't do cosmetics. We're really going to have to take this opportunity to dig deep, to really investigate in our lives, in our hearts. What thoughts do we have? What's consciousness? What's in our consciousness that create this? And to create it is already, it's in the DNA. It is in the DNA.
You know
And
what?
so we got
It
to pull
is.
it up by the root.
Yeah, it is.
It
We
is
got
in the
to pull
DNA.
it
It's
up.
ancestral. And it absolutely is. It's ancestral. It's patterns, it's imprints, and as you said, it's beliefs. And it's a way you're thinking, and it gets passed. It happens, you know, it just happens. It happens for everyone in a different way. What we're talking about specifically is what happened, with the racism and bigotry and all that has taken place, and the world is, America is crying. They're cut. They're hurting. They want to heal. It's that pain of running for your life, that pain of not feeling like you're being treated equally. It's the pain of exactly what you ladies are saying.
Yeah. And in when you go to many countries in Africa, the environment is, I mean, nearly all the countries, maybe except South Africa, that you see a lot of white indigens there. But in other countries, the majority are Black people. And you just see few white people there that are working, that are doing projects or doing something. And it is only for those that have the opportunity to travel there, that is when you can really see what it is that Black people here are going through. Because when you are there, you can breathe. It's really like, you just feel free. And here, it's a heightened state that if you are not careful, you are never breathing down anyway. So if somebody is dying, even those of us that are living, it's like they are dying because they're not breathing. And, I'm talking of breathing deep. So, Reverend Angela, when you went to Ghana, that was one of the things that you were telling me. I knew that you were going there like every year after that. Those are one of the things that she was telling me that, she felt there. I was born in that environment, so I knew exactly what she was talking about. I was a teenager by the time I left, and I had never sort of seen anywhere where there are more white people than Black people. I've never seen it. So when the first time I saw it and I saw the attitude, I was shocked because in Africa, in all these countries in Africa, they are so welcoming to foreigners, welcoming to other nationalities, very welcoming there. So I was very surprised. And, but I've been here now for so long that I'm part of the stress too, in terms of I feel the stress. I'm frightened of the police. And you think that the people that are frightened of the police are young people. No, it's all of us. If I ever see a police light behind me, I think I'll have a heart attack.
Wow, that's pretty, and you didn't have that in Africa. And
No.
so, yeah, so you're saying that you experienced enough of the tribal energy of all the tribes, that's part of the energy of this, and then TV and just people and feeling unsafe and just prejudice, of not feeling. But the one thing I know about you, Dr. D, is you've never felt less than a person because of your color.
No, because, and it is because of being born abroad. Being born abroad, but I understand how my own people here feel less than a person. I really understand it because I came here as an adult. But if you've been brought down, I make sure that I go to my grandchildren's school. I try and meet the teachers and their parents to do the same, mainly so that they cannot feel less than a person.
Right.
Because it is in the system and the kind of side remarks and the kind of things that they see, and it just comes into them, and it's a discussion that we have with them continuously. And they're only 10 years and 7 years old. They are so young, but we've been talking to them since they were in kindergarten. because they go to school, they come back, you never know what they've been told. You never know what the teachers say. So you have to continuously be talking to them as to how was your day, and then try to remove all those negative things. You know, Hillside, the church that Angela and I went to school in, Hillside is a New Thought school. And they really do a fantastic job. Dr. Barbara King and all the pastors, you know, they do a fantastic job in teaching children that they are somebody. We have prayers that they say every day, and make sure that the grandchildren, they say it. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. And the presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. And wherever you are, God is. So when you are seeing yourself in that kind of, that wherever you are, God is with you. God is there. You know, it's a fantastic empowerment tool. But I tell you, not many people have it. So you are being knocked down. Every day you go to school from when you are in kindergarten. And I see it even when I go to my grandchildren's school. I see it. Because I see the big, young Black boys. They're always the ones that, you know, time out. They're being sent to the principal's office. They're being quiet. They're being somebody told me that their son was in middle school, and he said something to her, to the mother. They hate Black boys in this country. He was 10 years old. They hate Black boys, or 11, in this country. And the mother said she was shocked, and she said, "What do you mean by that?" And he said, "The teachers hate Black boys. If you dare ask any question," this is a Black boy talking, "the way she will shut you down, you will never ask another question again."
Well, the thing, you just said something that really came to light for me, that it's in the DNA of every human being. It's in the DNA to judge. It's in the DNA to think somebody is less than. And it's in the DNA of, doesn't matter color. It's not about color. And what you're describing, is it come to the surface of all this repressed pain and anger, that I'm a human. I am a spiritual being. I am equal to everyone. How dare you treat me differently? How dare you look at my skin and tell me I'm less than?
I mean, but you saw Jane Elliott's work. You've seen that before, haven't you?
Yes.
Okay. Where she was talking to the blue eye and the brown eye. Just that alone, did you see how much everybody started ganging up against the blue eye that was, not good enough, and the blue eye checked out, didn't want to come back to school. So when you see a lot of black children, they don't like school because of that. But if the environment of the school is thriving and wonderful, of course, every child will want to be there if the teacher understands. But there are more Caucasian teachers in the country because financially they can afford, and correct me, Reverend Angela, if I'm wrong, they can afford the low salary that they're paid, because most of them have husbands that can pay, that can supplement it. But with the Black community, the salary is too small for that parent to be able to, especially if it's a one person home, one parent home. is too small, it's too little. So she's not going to do the job. She's not going to be there. There's still some that do it irrespective because they love being a teacher and they still do it. They live on credit cards. But we don't have enough Black teachers mainly because of what they're paid. Am I correct, Reverend Angela? Have you lost her again?
Yeah, I keep hearing a noise in the background. It's almost like somebody's piping. I don't know what that is. Can you hear us, Reverend Angela?
She moved just now.
Yeah. We are about at
Well,
the
she's
end of
going
the
in and
room.
out. She was talking about economics. I can't. I'm not sure whose economic woes she was talking about. But I know I did hear her talking about the salaries and the small money that I don't know if it was hers or officers, but conversation. But I did not hear the particulars. But I do understand that those people that we're now celebrating as essential workers, a lot of them on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic are generally the people who make the least amount of money. You know, so we have teachers who are not fairly compensated, and I think a lot of parents probably figured that out as they've had to take care of their kids for the last 8 weeks, having your children at home with you and having to take care of them all day. And to think you got a teacher who has like 30 of those kids that they're educating and trying to or trying to keep them excited about learning. So that is a big feat. Even our police officers who are unfairly paid. And I want to say I'm not against policing. We have some great police officers. It's unfortunate that we have a few that have gone beyond the rules, regulations of their jobs to take the law into their own hands. The challenge, however, is that there's always seemed to be some type of cover up. And then we often hear that particularly in some of these cases, I think of the young man who was stopped with his girlfriend and child in the back seat, and he was asked to give him his insurance papers, and so he reaches in the glove compartment and he shot and killed in front of his girlfriend and his daughter, who's maybe 3 or 4. But then when they go to court, the officer is exonerated. He's let go because he was afraid for his life. So a lot of the officers, I think, and coupled with not being fairly compensated, also the fear and the anxiety they go through on the job, really not knowing the people they serve, those come into play in many ways. And then and the idea of racism. So we look at all of those things and how they come together to create these perfect storms where people are harmed because we just don't know each other. And we believed what has been handed down through the years. Things have changed so much. And when we talk about DNA, I'm not sure if you may be familiar with the term epigenetics.
Yeah.
Epigenetics says that your DNA can be changed by your environment. That if you continue to go through the same constructs over and over and over again, that your DNA will change. So if we continue to perpetuate the idea of inequality, these ideas that of hate and that Black people are all bad, then it goes generations and generations. So at this point, what do we do? It's so many challenges, and I think we all need to work together.
We do.
People,
Solution.
white,
Yeah.
Black, brown, all of us need to. I see everyone as brother and sister.
I
know that there are
agree.
some challenges, but it's bigger than just a person. No, it's bigger.
Yes, I agree. And we're going to get back together on Wednesday, and we're going to just talk about, because you do have to raise your consciousness, and you ladies have done the work, and I have too, and we are going to share tools, spiritual tools that everybody can use to go within and start changing their own mindset of checking in to see what our own prejudice are, what
Yes.
they are in life, whether you're Black, white, Hispanic, Chinese, it doesn't matter. It's all about us. And yet, you guys have been very candid in sharing your own experiences, being whether you're from this country or you're from another country, it doesn't matter. We're talking about how the energy has been, and it is passed down ancestral, and it is in our DNA. It is our beliefs that need to come to the surface because the pain is there. It's right there. It's come up. We're bleeding, and it's time for us to heal. It is time to heal because that's what we can do. I mean, what else are we going to do?
Yeah, if you want to survive, if we all want to survive, we need to heal.
We need to heal. We want to do better than survive.
Yes.
We want
to thrive.
Yes, we want to thrive and be abundant.
Yes.
And have it all. And I do know that you ladies do live that way. And I do appreciate it very much. I do want to share one thing of my own story. 4 years ago, I was living still in Ohio, and I was tutoring kids, and I had five schools that I literally was going in, and they were not public schools, they were non-public schools, and they all were like a Jewish school, a Baptist school, a Catholic school. I mean, there were other, a charismatic school, and so most of them were inner city Columbus, not all of them. But it was very interesting going into each school of what the dynamics were. And there were 3 schools that I was a minority. And one school, there were only 3 Caucasians, and I was one of them in the whole school. And it was inner city. And I was tutoring kids, and we were sitting in a group. I had 2 Afro-American, these little children, a Black, a girl and a boy. They weren't related, but I happened to be tutoring them in a subject, math, reading, whatever. I think it was reading. And one of the kids says, well, my mom hates white folks. She does not like white folks at all. I'm sitting there teaching her, and I didn't take it personal at all. I really didn't. But I thought, okay, you really can just say it. That is awesome. You can just be honest and be frank about how you feel. So, it was very interesting being in an inner city school, whether you are even in the Catholic or the Baptist. And like I said, the 4 of them were religious. The Jewish school was not in inner city. It was on the east side of Columbus, but it wasn't inner city. And it was just very different. But it was different not because it was non-public. I mean, because it was inner city. And we're talking about kids, fathers in prison for shooting, living out of a car. You're talking about all kinds of things. Which that's not. We're talking about poverty today. We're talking about racism and bigotry and just the pain, of what's been happening. But I did want to let you know my own personal experience.
But Judy, that shouldn't be something that should happen.
No, it shouldn't.
Yeah, you shouldn't have experienced that.
No, and in the school, because
I mean,
right
now the country has come a long way.
We have, and even in that school 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. Well, no, it was 2016, so that was 3.5, 4 years. No, 4 years in June is when I quit. But even at that time, being that it was a religious school, and I go into one of the rooms, like I said, I was the third white woman, and I walk in and said something to the teacher there, and that I needed something or other, and he was. I mean, it's a whole. I'm not going to go down the route, but I had been. Well, now I started it. I'm going to have to finish it. But it was a charismatic school. And so you're not just talking Black, you're talking, and not inner city, you're talking charismatic. And the guy was talking and speaking in tongues, and he ended up hitting me, my forehead. And I said, I'm not afraid of you. I mean, come on, what are we doing here? And he goes to hit me. And that's when I said, I'm not afraid. And I didn't make a big deal about it. I think I said something to the principal, but I understood, he was just doing his thing, and I didn't take it personal, and I didn't take it. I just didn't go down that route. But the way the principal reacted was, oh my God, there's a white woman you just hurt, and you don't think that she could cause problems and sue? I mean, that was her attitude.
Many years ago, they would have hung him.
Yeah, and I just like, you know what? She didn't know me. She didn't know that I didn't have an issue.
They could have done really bad things to him.
Yeah, they could have, and that was
that shouldn't be any society. Any society shouldn't even have that thinking that we're saying.
Right.
For us to even be thinking it.
I agree. And that was the point of bringing this up, with her reaction, because he ended up losing his job and left the school early. But I know he was really concerned probably about, some things going on, but he did something else and she let him go. But that wasn't related to what happened to me, but you and I know that was a nervous situation for them.
Yes.
Because of what happened. But like I said, I didn't do any. I didn't even tell, because I was hired by an online school that is actually all through the United States, and I didn't even tell them. Like I said, I didn't really have an issue about any of it. It's just that I found it. I couldn't believe it, actually, that it happened. Yeah, whatever.
That shouldn't happen at all.
No, it shouldn't. But I want you to know, the one thing I want to share, being that I was only 3 people in a school of a couple hundred, and being a minority, it was very uncomfortable, in the sense where, I had always been in schools where I was not a minority, I was the majority. So I can imagine coming from a different culture, or even you, Dr. D, coming from a different country, and then living in London, and then coming here. I mean, you do live in a very large city that is, I mean, you're not a minority in Atlanta, but I'm telling you,
I think we're still a minority in Atlanta.
Okay, so all right.
I think we're still. I mean, we are more. Black people here are just more vocal. There are more of us, but I think in the long run, Angela, aren't Black people still the minority here in Atlanta? I'm not sure we're the majority. I don't think so. Well, it's just a more fun place and more welcoming place for people of color.
Right. And I lived in Houston for 8 years, and it was a third of the population was probably Caucasian, a third was Hispanic probably, and a third was Afro-American. Mm-hmm. And so being the larger the culture, it definitely was. And I say third, and just because that's seemed to be what the population was. I could be off on that. But with that being said, we're at our end of our time. And I just want to remind everyone to join us again on Wednesday. Like I said, we're here not to talk anymore about the wounds and the pain. We're here to come up with some solutions for everybody. And that is, my website is judyjewett.com. Dr. D is drdaudiomoses.com. And then we have Angela, Reverend Angela, and it's it is, I'm sorry.
Radiant Vision Communications.com.
Thank you. I'm looking at my paper, the wrong paper here.
It's Radiant Vision Communications.com.
RadiantVisionCommunication.com. I love the name of that. You were definitely inspired, Reverend Angela, for the name of your business. So I honor you all. Thank you very much. And we will be back on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thank you.